See, there you go. Facebook literally bounced back. It's everything's it looks like we're live. So Facebook, we apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We're literally just saying that is part of the fun of technology. Facebook just had a huge announcement, a huge push, and changed everything. And we don't know if it's live on Facebook or not. So if you're joining us on Facebook, welcome. If not, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, everybody else, good morning and welcome to the Shred Show Live. We are so excited to be bringing two new friends and incredibly talented, incredibly knowledgeable guests to this show, because now more than ever, I've been saying it, I'm going to continue to say it. You need to be honed in on your craft. You need to be helping our clients, but not just in a way that's just like, oh yeah, we want to get you better interest rates. The homeownership journey, which the entire SimpleNexus team is always championing, they're always helping us as originators with. That home ownership journey is absolutely critical. And if you're not creating an enjoyable experience, an experience that your clients are going to remember, then you're going to be left in the dust. I'm joined by Ali and Cassie today, and this is going to be an incredible conversation. You're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to share this to everybody in your office. You're going to want to share this with everybody, because this will help you and the experience of your borrowers. Are you ready? Are you ready? It is time to shred. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Shred Show Live. Like I mentioned this morning, I've got two new friends and incredible guests joining me this morning. I've got Cassie, Buckner, and Ali. I didn't even try it. Maquet. How do you say it, Ali?
Maquet. Maquet.
Wasn't even close on that one. That's
you
like,
tried though.
I tried, but I was way off on that one. See, going down, she's going to Alabama. She's wanting to fit in down there with some of those weird last names you get down in that area. So, but I'm excited to have both you ladies with us, because we're having one of those conversations. And every time I talk with SimpleNexus and we have these discussions, it's always about the homeownership journey. And to me, being somebody who has been in this industry for so long, who has helped so many people with that journey of home ownership, buying their first home, buying an investment home, maybe just refinancing, whatever it is, taking advantage of the biggest asset that most of us will ever own, SimpleNexus truly leads the way. And you guys, your team, it's so much fun. And it gives me hope. It gives me gratitude for the industry. And I love companies like you guys that continually put homeowners first. So that is what our conversation is going to be around today, is really improving that journey, improving that experience. But before we get into all of that, there's so much we're going to get into, so many topics we're going to discuss. But before we do, let's get to know Cassie and Ali a little bit more. So Cassie, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us how you got started in the industry.
Sure. I started in the industry in 2008. I know. Gasp. With a
best time in the world to get started in this industry, like perfect timing.
It was perfect timing. It was manufactured housing lending, so it was a rare breed out there in the wild. And I spent my first 9 years in that space. Fell into technology while I was there towards the end of that time at the mortgage company I was working at, and fell in love with technology and took my talents, I guess. I'm from Ohio, so I get that LeBron James, took my talents to Miami. But no, took my talents to the technology space, because that's really where I found the passion. So worked for Ellie Mae, now ICE, and worked for Sagent Lending Technologies before I landed here at SimpleNexus about a year ago. So
you are like the LeBron James. I mean, if you're going to compare, just set it out there, Cassie. You are the LeBron of the mortgage industry. Just throw it out there. I like it. I like that. Ali, what about yourself? Tell us a little bit about you and how you got started in the industry.
Yeah, so like Cassie, I've been with SimpleNexus for about a year, but I actually came from the ed tech space. So the last 16 years, I worked in education technology and really honed my craft, if you will, around product management and really understanding the end user in that space, being students. And it really translated nicely, surprisingly, into the borrower experience, focusing on the actual end customer. And so I joined the mortgage industry a year ago and have been just soaking up everything I can. It took some courage to actually say that out loud in this space, because it is, it's a different journey here, but SimpleNexus, it makes everyone a mortgage expert when you join the company. So
I like that. SimpleNexus does a really good job at that. You know, I know Kathleen, I know Ben, I know Matt personally. They're very, very good friends. And one thing that I've always known about SimpleNexus, back in the days when SimpleNexus was just starting, when Matt was in his garage typing up code and things were really growing, they have been centric on mortgage. And I love that you even mentioned that, Alice, because they can take anybody and they can help them become an expert. They can help them. They can give them the tools. They can give them the resources to where if you have any knowledge at all you mortgage professionals out there, you loan officers, they make us look amazing. That's what we all like. We look like we're like the best of the best of the best. And those are the true partners that we want. Those are the technology partners. And coming from a background like that, education tech, that's kind of actually interesting, to be honest. It's like that there's some correlation there. So it's exciting. I love seeing new people like yourself who have the expertise coming from a different industry and putting it in ours. Cassie and me, we're just old timers in this industry. We've been around the block. We know it, but the new blood coming in and saying, hey, you know what? Let's look at this a little bit different way. Let's put a little bit of this different spin on this, which that's exactly what I'm excited to talk about. And Cassie, I want to kind of start this conversation off with you because SimpleNexus has always had a unique, a very interesting, a very dynamic approach when it comes to user convenience in technology in particular. But what are some of the solutions? It seems like SimpleNexus is always coming out with new solutions and creating new opportunities for the users. What are some of the things right now that SimpleNexus is working on in that regard?
Yeah, well, Allie can speak to some of the really exciting stuff that the borrower team has been working on. We've got Nexus Bilingual, you may have already talked about here on the show. The refresh loan application, those have been really super exciting things. We've got other things coming down the pike that are exciting too. There's the loan officer 1003, so a brand new experience for the loan officer dealing with the loan application as well. So those are the hot button items right now that have been recently released. Yeah.
So I say, Allie, expand on that a little bit, because I know there is, when it comes to that user experience in particular, technology, and you coming from an ed tech background, technology does play a big role. And when it comes to creating these solutions, SimpleNexus is one of the absolute unquestionable leaders in the industry.
Yeah, so we've actually recently spent quite a bit of time with our product design team doing a lot of research on the user and how they interact with our platform to make sure that user interface creates this seamless and also like a really logical experience end to end. One of the things we focus, of course, SimpleNexus is focused on is the lender and what the lender needs, but the lender isn't going to get what they need if we're not paying attention to what is logical and meaningful to the borrower and to the end user. So that's where we spend a lot of our research. And I mentioned our product design team. We made a big investment in product design. So we have a team of designers and researchers that have really lended SimpleNexus to become your expert partner in technology, so that when we go through the experience, we're saying, what does the borrower need? Does this make sense when the borrower's opening an account, when they are moving through the loan application, when they're completing tasks? And you guys know those tasks can come up at any time, and making sure that the lender's getting what they need, but it's presented to the borrower in that logical fashion.
Do you think that, I mean, that plays such a big role in it? And this is, again, when it comes to partners, when it comes to true technology partners, for me, coming from somebody who's owned a mortgage company who still has an origination license, I don't originate, but to what you just said there, or to your point here, Allie, this is one of those things that SimpleNexus is always thinking about us, because technically we're your user. We're of course helping, the borrower, the person buying the home, refinancing, whatever it is, but we're your client. You're constantly working with us on product, on development, on user experience, because us as an originator, we all know our favorite things in the world. We all have these in our pockets as I reach into it. This thing is such a big part of the mobile experience, the origination experience now. And you guys are constantly asking, working with originators, getting our feedback. You mentioned lenders in particular. You're always listening and improving in that regard. How do you think that really does help SimpleNexus stay ahead of the game?
Yeah, so on top of the research we do to understand our end users, right, and going in and doing interviews and breaking down what's logical for that end user. The other piece of that is taking what we've learned, taking what's designed, what's prototyped, what's ready for beta, if you will, and taking it to our customers and saying, okay, does this make sense? Will you beta it? Will you test it? And then taking their feedback and going through that learn, develop, design, like reiterate that constant cycle until we get to that final product. But that partnership and that collaboration is where you like our customers versus our end users get to actually influence that outcome.
Ooh, I love that. And right along with that, Cassie, I would love your kind of your feedback on being that it's the end user. You guys are always, why is it so important to have that end user in mind when you guys are putting together, when you're working with these different teams?
Yeah, I mean, user experience, I don't know about you, Josh or Allie, like that term didn't come up, at least in my mortgage background, until about 2015. I was thinking back. And since then, it's been not just a buzzword, it is, all encompassing. We will not be successful if our end users are not successful, period. And, SimpleNexus, one reason I joined was that we do look at that end user experience. We've organized our research and development department around the user experience. We have 13 persona focused teams here.
Whoa, so, that's a lot of persona. Like that's they're like, that's not a lot, but that's a ton of different personas there. And you think of all the personas out there, that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard a number up to 40 people touch a mortgage loan during the process. So yeah, you can imagine there are a lot of different areas to focus on, and that's all in the end so that the borrower has a great experience too. But how we do that is really interesting. We have kind of a trifecta of a product manager, a dev lead, and that user experience person together helping to drive the roadmap for SimpleNexus. So that is how we are able to be nimble and pivot to different market changes and deliver the best experience for all the users, supporting the borrower and the loan originator and their unique relationship.
I think that's so key and that's so critical. And honestly, Allie, it brings up something else that I mentioned this device, but this is something that, again, is so critically important. And for SimpleNexus in particular, this has always been a big focus, having the entire transaction, having the entire mortgage transaction as a mobile experience. And mobile, it truly is one of the most integral parts of the SimpleNexus experience platform. As Cassie's talking about experience, the user experience for us as originators, even for the end consumer. Having a mobile experience is critically important, but why has it been so integral for SimpleNexus in their platform?
Yeah, so as you know, SimpleNexus, we're the only ones that are going to give everyone their own mobile apps that regardless if you are the loan officer or the borrower or the real estate agent, right, the whole ownership journey, you have your mobile device in your hand and you can accomplish the tasks that you need to do no matter where you're at. So over 50% of our borrowers' activities are done on the mobile device. Think about it. You're out looking at homes. You don't know if there's going to be something on the market for you, and you find the perfect place, but you haven't done that loan application, and you know that you can't make that offer without that pre-approval letter. So right there from your mobile device on a Saturday afternoon, you can do your loan application. Similarly, your loan officer can grab their mobile device, review, and do that pre-approval letter and get it all to your agent right there, and no one had to go back to the office. No one had to run upstairs to their office. No one had to go back home to do that loan application. Everyone was able to accomplish what they need to in a reasonable amount of time while they're out in the market looking at real estate or just living your life, right? Our loan officers have lives too, and they're out, they're on vacation, they're at a kid's soccer game, and they're able to still work with their real estate agents and with their borrowers to move things ahead.
Well, that's I want to hit on that because this is so critical and I want you to continue, but we really do. So many of us talk about this, especially with a shifting market, with interest rates on the rise. There's a lot of doom and gloom. There's a lot of fear in our industry, but we still have to go live our lives. Our borrowers are living other lives. They all live busy lives. We are getting busier and busier. And that's why for the borrowers, for us, like on the go, this is becoming more. And it's so many people are like, oh, it's just the millennials. It's the younger generation, but that's just not the case. Like we have our baby boomers. As a matter of fact, I just had I had one of my aunts and true story, aunt and uncle who are, I mean, they've got to be late 70s, maybe even early 80s. We were sitting there and she's like, oh yeah, that's right. I just applied for our new mortgage on our phone. And I'm like, Kathy, I'm a more professional. I do this for a living, right? I do that, but she did it on her mobile device. It's not just the young millennials anymore.
Yeah. The average age of the home buyer is 45. That is not a millennial.
No.
And yeah, they demand, every generation is demanding that we use technology to make this experience more efficient. And if the technology is user friendly, if we're caring about the user experience and we're investing in the user experience, anyone, any generation can get on their computer or get on their mobile device, because SimpleNexus works across all platforms, or their tablet, whatever makes sense to them, and complete the requirements of the home buying process.
Cassie, I don't know if you have any, because I thought you were going to mention something there, because this is one of those things for the younger demographic. And Allie, I mentioned this a minute ago too, but bringing new people in the industry as new, whether they're a younger demographic, whether they've been in other industries and they're coming to our industry, there's a huge opportunity of a shift that's happening within the mortgage industry. So having access to companies, having access to tools, you nailed this. You couldn't have said it better earlier, Allie. Coming from an outside world, there are companies like SimpleNexus who are willing to educate, who are willing to train, who are willing to teach, hey, let us show you the ropes of this industry, and then let's take your knowledge and let's put it in here. But back to kind of what we were mentioning there as well, Cassie, this world of a younger generation, and it's not just the millennials using these things anymore. I think that's very prevalent. That's something that, again, SimpleNexus is always thinking about.
Yeah, we definitely are. And mobile is, I think, our differentiator in the market. That native app experience, I don't know about you, but anytime I go into a web responsive experience, especially with a login, it's pretty painful. No one wants that. But beyond that, we need to support all the different actors in the lending space. So I think SimpleNexus is doing a great job of that. We're making investments in our admin experience too, so that the loan officers and all of the other players, team members, closers, all of those are set up for success in our platform too, so that the borrower has a great experience. I want to touch on, Allie's being pretty modest about, it took a village to raise her into mortgage, but she's done great. One thing that she brings to the table that I think is going to be so crucial going forward is education in lending, right? As a borrower, sometimes we don't know, what we can do, especially with rates rising or what have you. How can I actually qualify? How can I get a loan? Or maybe I can't. And that education piece is going to be so key, I think, going into the future as well. Educating our borrowers on the products that are out there and available to them. So,
dang, what a great accolade to Allie, Cassie. That was awesome. But along those lines, this is actually really interesting, and I kind of want to expand on this in particular, because I think this is one of those things, education in particular, and SimpleNexus really does value that lender collaboration, that shared knowledge, kind of as you're talking about. But how does SimpleNexus really take that, Allie, to a whole new level when it comes to the product development process? Why is that collaboration so important for SimpleNexus with their lenders?
Yeah, so we on any given day, you can find a product team reaching out to our customer and our sales team saying, hey, we're ready to test this feature, we're ready to roll out this new product line, and we need beta customers. And people are looking for someone to raise their hand to partner with us. And we work with customers across our platform, right? We don't just have a few customers that we focus on and they're the only ones that give us feedback. We reach out across everyone that uses the SimpleNexus platform to make sure we test and understand. A lot of times, and we experienced this with the loan application, we went through an experience of making sure that a loan application's long, right? We need a lot of information from a borrower to approve them to buy a home. But there's a tolerance that the borrower can take as they're going through the experience. How long can you ask them to stay in that loan application before they're fatigued? So we worked really hard, and shout out to our design team, specifically Gabby. She did all the research here, but she to say how much can a borrower tolerate, and And then when we went to testing and collaboration with our lender, it was, okay, where did we miss? Where did we not actually get you a piece of information that you need because we were so focused on that borrower tolerance? And then you find that balance, the balance between the end user and then ultimately what gets that loan moving ahead, which also serves the end user, right?
Yeah.
And then to Cassie's point, it's all of those. I'm gonna say supporting roles, but really it's because we all have the same customer, right? We're all serving that same home buyer, making sure that each one of those personas or those roles along the process is also getting what they need, which is of course why we're organized the way they are. But it's critical. If we don't get their feedback, we don't find that balance, and we're only focused on one avenue or one user.
I like this. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
No.
it's just this agile feedback loop, like making sure that we're doing the research ahead of a design, once we have what we think is a great design, getting additional feedback from not only an end user like a borrower, someone outside of the lender space, but also our lenders to make sure it works from them with this highly regulated industry. All those pieces are so important to find that balance, like Ali was saying. And then once we've shipped the code, we still want your feedback, right? We still work with our lenders to constantly improve and get that continuous improvement and rinse and repeat. So, I think that's why SimpleNexus has the reputation of listening to their customers, and that's led to the success of ourselves and our customers. We're only successful if our customers are. So,
well, and to that point for both of you, I absolutely, this is something that I've, again, talking with the entire team, and to both of your points, like it does take a team, it takes a village to make this happen. But something that SimpleNexus has always been so focused on is being a tech partner, not just a tech vendor. There's plenty of vendors out there. There's a difference, right? Like there's such a difference on just being a vendor out there than being a tech partner, right, Ali?
Yep, absolutely. We take what we know and what we're seeing and all of the data and access to information we have, along with the real life experience of our customers and our end users, to ultimately come up with the best product.
And I think that also leads back into us being focused on personas as instead of features. I think when you get labeled a vendor, you're just trying to check the box. Hey, we have this thing, right? But if you aren't focused on how someone's interact, it's great if it's only okay if you have that thing. It's only going to be great if someone's actually using and adopting that thing. So I think that focus on personas has really shaped the way that we are able to partner with our lenders.
Cassie, that was brilliant, because so many of us so often are just trying to check the box as tech vendors. Like, oh, do I have this? Do I have this? Do I have it? Check. But it's actually the people, it's the personas, it's the different. We all have different personalities. We all have the ways we're going to react differently. So actually understanding that and thinking like, hey, this is actually a human experience. Imagine that our borrowers are human. They're going to emotionally, we're all a little bit different. How can we make sure that we're not just checking the box? How can we actually understand them? How can we better fit their needs? How can we make this an enjoyable experience? And this is something that, again, every time we have a conversation with SimpleNexus and your incredible team, whether, like I said, from product to C-level executives, you're all on the same page. It's all about that experience. It's all about working together to provide those solutions and create that value for the lenders. It has to give you both. I mean, I know, Ali, you're relatively new to the industry, but Cassie, being somebody, you've been in this industry as long as I have, or, almost as long as I have. And it's just like, when you have a company that's so focused on bettering the industry, that truly wants to improve that experience, because to your point, Ali, none of us, we get buying fatigue, we get mortgage fatigue, even as mortgage professionals. Don't lie to yourself. You can only do so many mortgages. Like, as much fun as we all say it is, this is something that we do get that fatigue, and having a true partner like SimpleNexus just helps that entire process.
Absolutely. I wanted to touch on something Cassie had said, where we talked about checking the boxes, right? And making sure we have that feature, we have that capability. It comes to adoption. Is that feature, is that capability something that people are using? If adoption isn't there, we have our persona teams, our teams that are dedicated to that end user, taking a look and saying, where did we miss? What can we fix? Is there something that actually doesn't make this usable yet? We've released really early and we release often to make sure that we can get that value to our customers as quickly as possible. That means you're getting a V1. It means that we're coming back, we're adding new features, we're adding new improvements. And we do this all the time, really fast. And but we're tracking our data. We're looking at adoption. We're looking at usability. We're looking at what pieces of the different products are being used and what aren't, so that we can make really smart decisions about where we improve the experience.
Ooh, and that's just it. And that's what's so cool about it, is your team is always coming together and saying, okay, we're good. We're damn good. But where can we improve? Let's talk with our lender partners. Let's talk with our users. How can we make it even that much better? And it's always, and again, knowing the entire executive team, knowing all the incredible people who all come together at SimpleNexus, it's always wanting to get a little bit better, always wanting to improve. That's how we all personally, individually, as a companies get better. As an industry, we get better is when we have those innovators in the space saying, hey, let's just improve this just a time. Let's not reinvent the wheel, but let's just improve on this a little bit. This has been, ladies, this has been such a brilliant conversation. As we start to wrap things up here, I would love both of your your last thoughts when it comes to things you're excited for. You know, there's so much doom and gloom. I hate the doom and gloom in the industry, but what are some of the things you're both excited for? Cassie, let's start with you, that whether it's in the SimpleNexus ecosystem, what's something that you're excited for, something you're looking forward to in the next few months?
I think this is a great opportunity for all the lenders out there to take a look at their technology stack and really make some, really ask yourself, is it serving your needs? And if SimpleNexus is a part of that, I ask you maybe you have a little bit more time, I don't know, but partner with us. And, we can get down to that why, the why that everyone's asking together of how to improve the SimpleNexus platform, how we tackle this industry going forward with different shifts, and reach out to us. We're really excited.
I love that. And right now, I think Cassie in particular, with margin compression, that those conversations coming back with all the doom and gloom that's going on, taking a look at what's truly going to help you and your organization thrive right now is going to be absolutely critical. Are they just vendors, or are they the partners that we're really needing? Allie, what are your final thoughts, things that you're excited for?
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on what Cassie said, because it is a good time for lenders to take a look at the experience end to end, whether it's for your borrowers or for your loan officers or for your closers, whoever the user is on your platform, and make sure it's logical. Make sure that it's saving time. Make sure that it's giving them the tools where they need it. And if it's not, and you're like Cassie said, that if you're not a SimpleNexus customer, come talk to us. But if you are, there's likely features and things that you can use inside our platform that aren't being fully utilized, that we can help create that efficient experience. I find that the mortgage process sometimes is going to be what it's going to be, but with your technology, we can create efficiencies and we can make it more enjoyable. It can be enjoyable and it can be happy, and we can do that through this platform. So it's a good time to take a look at that end-to-end experience.
Efficiency, enjoyability, those two things, you got me right there. Like, if I can have those two things right now, I am in. Ladies, this has been truly an amazing conversation. There's so many things that both of you have shared that have just been, even for myself, it's like, hey, maybe it's time to take a look. Again, if you're a mortgage company, if you're worried about some of the things that are going on, now's the time to reach out to your partners. Be asking the questions. Cassie mentioned it. Maybe you have questions. Maybe you just need to get a few more things answered. Now's the time to be doing it. Maybe you have a little extra time that you're like, hey, maybe I'm not originating as much. Let's look at the tech stack. Let's look at my partners who are really going to help us succeed and ultimately have my best interest in mind. Who's going to help me improve? Who's going to help me usher in the new age of mortgage? So ladies, this has been absolutely brilliant. If you have any questions or concerns, send us an email, and I'll also post a link below that you can reach directly out to SimpleNexus to get all of your questions answered. Allie, Cassie, thank you so much. This has been incredibly brilliant, and I really appreciate all of your insights and all your knowledge you shared.
Thank you for having us, Josh.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh, my pleasure. We're definitely going to have you ladies back, because again, these are the conversations we need to have more of. It's having wonderful people like yourselves share the different insights, share the knowledge. And again, we get better together as an industry. Both of these ladies have said it. We have to work together, and we have to improve this process as a team. With that, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you guys to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.